let's talk about the 4-hour workweek. Tim Ferriss wrote a book that changed how millions of people think about work and time, and look, I respect the hustle. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. The 4-hour workweek is a fantasy for 99% of people trying to build real wealth. And honestly, it's not even what most successful people actually want. Now, before you click away thinking this is gonna be some hustle culture rant about grinding 80 hours a week, hold on. Because what I'm about to share with you is a schedule that actually works in the real world. A schedule that lets you build multiple income streams, grow your wealth, and still have a life you actually enjoy living. No burnout, no sacrificing your health or relationships, just strategic, intelligent use of your time. The problem with the 4-hour workweek concept isn't that it's completely wrong. It's that it skips over the most important part of the journey. Tim Ferriss didn't start with a 4-hour workweek. He built businesses, he failed, he learned, he worked his face off, and then he optimized. The 4-hour workweek is a destination, not a starting point. And most people are trying to use it as a starting point, which is why they end up broke and frustrated. Here's what actually happens when you try to work 4 hours a week from the beginning. You don't make enough money to live. You don't develop valuable skills. You don't build anything sustainable. You're essentially trying to retire before you've even started your career. It doesn't work, but there is a schedule that does work, and it's based on a principle I call strategic intensity. It's not about working all the time. It's about working on the right things at the right times with full focus. Let me break down what this actually looks like. First, let's talk about the phases of wealth building, because your schedule should match where you are in your journey. If you're in the early phase, building your first $10,000 to $50,000 in net worth, you need a different schedule than someone who's already hit $500,000 and is optimizing passive income. In the foundation phase, when you're building your base, here's the reality. You probably need to be putting in 50 to 60 hours a week of productive work. Not busy work, not scrolling social media at your desk. Actual focused work. I know that sounds like a lot, but let's break down what that actually means. You've got your main job, which is probably 40 hours. Don't quit your job to chase the 4-hour workweek dream. Your job is providing you with income, benefits, and breathing room to build everything else. Then you've got another 10 to 20 hours for your side hustle or skill development. This is where you're building your escape plan. This is where you're creating additional income streams. Now, here's where my schedule is different from the grind culture nonsense you see online. Those hours are structured, they're intentional, they're protected. Let me walk you through what an actual week looks like. Monday through Friday, I wake up at 6, not because some guru told me to, but because those early morning hours are pure gold. From 6 to 7:30. Before the world wakes up and starts demanding things from me, I work on my highest leverage activities. This might be creating content, working on a business project, or learning a new skill. This is deep work. Phone is off. Email is closed. Just me and the work that actually moves the needle. Then, 7:30 to 8:30 is personal time. Workout, breakfast, getting ready for the day. You cannot build wealth if you burn out. Your body and mind are your most important assets. Treat them like it. 8:30 to 5 is my main job. And here's something important. I'm fully present during this time. I'm not half working while trying to secretly build my side hustle. I'm giving my employer the focus and energy they're paying for. This matters for 2 reasons. It's the right thing to do. 2, being excellent at your main job often leads to raises, promotions, and opportunities that accelerate your wealth building. 5 to 6 is transition time. Dinner, decompression, maybe a walk. Your brain needs to shift gears. 6 to 8:30, 4 nights a week, is side hustle time. This is where I work on my additional income streams. Maybe I'm freelancing. Maybe I'm building a digital product. Maybe I'm creating content. Whatever it is, it's focused and intentional. I'm not scattered across 10 different projects. I'm all in on 1 or 2 things that have real potential. But here's the key. 3 nights a week. I'm done at 6. Completely done. That time is for relationships, hobbies, rest, living life. Because if you can't enjoy the journey, what's the point of the destination? Weekends are where the magic happens, but not how you think. Saturday morning, I do 3 to 4 hours of focused work on my most important project. Fresh mind, no distractions, maximum output. Then Saturday afternoon and evening, I'm off. Completely off. Friends, family, fun, whatever recharges me. Sunday is 50-50. Maybe 3 to 4 hours of planning, learning, or working on something I'm passionate about. The rest is rest and preparation for the week ahead. Add it all up, and you're looking at about 50 to 55 hours of productive work per week. That's not the 4-hour work week, but here's what it is. Sustainable, strategic, and actually effective at building wealth. As you progress and your passive income grows, This schedule evolves. Maybe after 2 or 3 years, your side hustle is generating enough income that you can cut back at your main job or transition fully. Maybe you've built enough assets that you can afford to work 35 hours instead of 55. That's the goal, but you earn that schedule. You don't start with it. Let's talk about what makes a schedule actually work, because it's not just about the hours. It's about the structure within those hours. First, every work block has a specific purpose. I'm not just working. I'm either creating, learning, executing, or planning. Each of these requires different energy levels, so I match them to my natural rhythms. Creative work happens in the morning when my mind is fresh. Execution work happens during the day when my energy is high. Learning happens in the evening when I can absorb information without the pressure of producing. Second, I batch similar tasks. If I'm doing content creation, I'm creating multiple pieces in one session. If I'm doing client work, I'm grouping it together. Task switching destroys productivity, so I minimize it ruthlessly. Third, I protect my deep work time like my life depends on it, because financially, it kind of does. No phone calls during deep work. No meetings, no interruptions. That's when I produce the work that actually generates income and builds assets. Fourth, I track my time religiously for 1 week every quarter. Not to stress myself out, but to see where time is actually going versus where I think it's going. You'd be shocked how much time disappears into low-value activities if you're not paying attention. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. What about balance? What about enjoying life now instead of constantly working towards some future goal? Here's my take. Balance isn't about working less. It's about working on things that matter and being fully present wherever you are. When I'm working, I'm working. When I'm with my family, I'm with my family. When I'm resting, I'm actually resting, not feeling guilty about not working. The 4-hour workweek sells you on the idea that work is bad and you should do as little of it as possible. I completely disagree. Work, when it's meaningful and aligned with your goals, is one of the most fulfilling parts of life. The problem isn't work. The problem is unfocused, low-value, soul-crushing work that doesn't lead anywhere. If you're working 55 hours a week building something that matters, learning skills that increase your value, and creating income streams that compound over time, that's not a sacrifice. That's an investment, and it's an investment with a clear endpoint. Here's what nobody tells you about the 4-hour work week. Even the people who achieve it don't actually work 4 hours. They work on what they want, when they want, how they want. That might be 4 hours, it might be 40 hours, but it's on their terms, and getting to that point requires years of strategic intensity. So what's the actual path forward? For the first 3 to 5 years of your wealth building journey, embrace strategic intensity. Work smart and hard, but on the right things. Build your skills, build your income streams, build your assets. Be fully present in whatever you're doing, whether that's work or rest. Then, as your passive income grows and your assets compound, you can start dialing back the intensity. You can start choosing projects based on passion instead of just income. You can start saying no to opportunities that don't excite you. That's your 4-hour work week, or whatever version of freedom looks like for you. But you earn it, you don't start with it. If you're watching this and thinking your schedule is completely out of control, start with one change. Pick one block of time, maybe 3 hours on Saturday morning, and protect it ruthlessly for high-value work. See what happens. Then add another block. Build the habit of focus, intentional work before you try to optimize the hours down. The 4-hour work week is a lie, but the principle behind it isn't. The principle is this: your time is your most valuable resource, and you should be intentional about how you use it. It means working better. It means building systems and assets that eventually give you freedom. It means being strategic instead of just busy. Your schedule should serve your goals, not someone else's idea of what balance looks like. If you're building wealth, there's gonna be seasons of intensity. Embrace them, make them sustainable, and keep your eyes on what you're building toward. What does your ideal schedule look like? Not the fantasy version, but the version